So, good evening, and day four of our Flutter Festival, and I'm really glad to see a lot of you joining in. In the yesterday's session, we learned about how you can make a basic layout in your app, how you can design the widgets, the row and column widget, and many more stuff. So today we'll be continuing with that, and today we'll be giving you a proper hands-on introduction of Firebase and Google Cloud and how to integrate Google Cloud into. Please note that the submissions for the form are open for the next 2 days. That means you can make the submissions by 28th February. So please use your Sunday properly. Now I'll just hand over to Tavish.
Am I audible?
Yes, Tavish, you're audible.
Yeah, welcome everyone to the day four of the series of events in Flutter Festival. So today we have a bunch of things that we need to cover. So first of all, we will start building our application, that is Kickstore app. Then we will integrate Firebase with our Flutter application. Then I will show you how you can use Firebase storage or Google Cloud storage to store your images and use those images in your application. So it's very interesting
Hey,
session.
Tavish, sorry to interrupt. Can you give a
Yeah, yeah.
brief overview of what you did yesterday, like a summary kind of thing?
Yeah, sure. So if I move to the yesterday's agenda, so first of all, I discussed you about the first Flutter application that we created. Then I told you about the what is widget tree. This widget tree is a tree which contains your widgets that are used in your application. So after that, I also discussed how you can build layouts in Flutter with the elements like row, column, stack, padding, text, icons. And by using those elements, I showed you how you can create a page where you have a picture. Then in that picture, on that picture, we have also a text. And after that, we created an app bar where we had those icons and center text. So this was the basic layout. So actually, whenever you create a Flutter app, you have to use only these elements, and there are also some other elements which you can use by building complex UIs. But for simple UIs, like the profile page which I showed you yesterday, so for building that, you can use these layouts only, like row, column, stack, padding, icon, text, etc. So this was what we covered yesterday. Then I asked you to create the profile page. And I think there were four submissions, but you have also 2 days right from today, 20 till 28. You can submit the rest projects. So this was about the day three. And now in the day four, we are doing the same thing. First, step one is to create our app. We also created the app yesterday. Likewise, we also will be creating app today. But then we'll be discussing the further steps in this process. So first of all, let me take you to the step one, that is creating an app. Now for creating the application, you need to go to a folder in which you want to create the application. Let me move to desktop. Then there was a folder, Flutter Festivals. And I think in that folder, yes, in that folder, I created day one, day two, day three. So first of all, let me also share you the GitHub, repository. So in this repository, I created these folders. Like day one, it contains all the code that I used in day one. So if you want to refer, you can refer like this. Then it also has day two and day three. Like yesterday, we created this application, my first step. All the code of the Flutter application is here. If you go to the live folder, you can see all those pages. So now for today, we have day four. So I will be creating another folder in this folder. Let me create, you can create folder with this mkdir command. Let me create day four. Now to move into this folder, you can use cd command, day four. Sorry, it was I had to move to day four. So day four. Now you can also confirm by this, I am in day four. Now if you will use dir command, you will see there is nothing in this directory. Now let me clear the screen with cls command. Now for creating an application, you have to use this command flutter create. and then the application name. So let me give the application name Kick Store, 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 basically Kick Store. So now press enter and wait till your application is getting built. So as you can see, your application has been created, and now you can go to the VS Code. So all the steps are repeated, like we did yesterday. Now you have to open this folder. So go to File, then navigate to this open folder. Now go to Desktop and select your folder. Then go to day 4, and here is this folder or the Flutter application. Now click it and select folder. Now on the left side, you will see your application. All the files and programs that are already created are present here. Now for opening the the emulator, you have to select this bottom right. You have this Windows. Click here and then select the emulator from this list. My emulator is this Pixel 4, so I will click it. Now it will launch the emulator. Just wait for some. Yeah. So to run this application, first you need to go to this lib folder, then click on this main.dart file, and then on the top right you have this icon. So you can press this run without debugging. This will run this application in your emulator. You can see what is happening behind the scene in this debug console also. It's taking some time. Yeah, it's now it's built. Now it will run the emulator. So close this widget inspector because we don't need this, and you can delete this file also, analysis.yaml file. Practicing, so we don't need these rules, linting rules, so you can delete this file. Now you can see this is the same demo app, but we don't need this right now, so we can delete all this, lines of code till this home page. Delete this all. Now you can also delete this title. And now I'll show you how you can create a new file and then use that, file in this main.dart file. So if you go to the slave folder, then you right click this and create a new file. Let us give it a name homepage.dart. Now you can create a stateful widget here. So for creating a stateful widget, write STFL and then select this Flutter stateful widget and give it a name homepage. In the main dot file, you have my homepage dot, but we are here giving a homepage. That's not an issue. Now you can, if you see, you have all these red lines and all these errors. For removing these, just go to this bulb icon and select import library package material.dart. So this will remove that redness. Now in the main file, you can change this my homepage to the homepage because you want to use this file which has a class named homepage. So now if you will see there is again an error, but if you will go to this bulb icon, you can click this import library. Now this error will go. You can also delete these comments because we don't need them. And yeah, so it's black because we don't have any material components or a scaffold. So to remove this black screen, you can return a scaffold widget, because yesterday I told you scaffold is used to use the components which are given to us by material library. Now to use scaffold, just write return scaffold, then inside scaffold you have properties like app bar, then you can have again app bar. Now in app bar you can have a title. Let's give a title text, and let's give it a name kicks store. Now if you will click save, you see all the UI in this application. Now for the reference, let me see how the Kickstore app looks. So if you will see, let me present this first. So if you will see in this application, first you have in the app bar is of white color, and then you have this text and it's blue color, and in the end you have two icons, search icon and cart icon. Now let us build this app bar. So for building this app bar, we have already used this text kickstore. That's good. Now to change the color of the app bar, you have to use you have to use the property background color, and for you have to give a color, like I can give a colors dot white. It will remove this background. So if you see, there is something else here, this black shade. So it's called elevation. So to remove this elevation, you can have elevation equals 0. Now this elevation is also gone. So there is another option also in background. You can use colors or transparent. It will also do the same thing. It will have no color then. It will have the same color which is present below it. So transparent. Now you can see app bar is gone and our text is also gone. Text is gone because by default here in the app bar your text is of white color. Now to change the color to blue, you can have style property, then text style, and then you can have a color and set the properties colors dot blue. Now if you click save, you see you have this kick store. But I want to make it big, of a larger size. Then you can have font size parameter, and you can set it to like 22. Let's see how it looks. It looks nice, but I want to make it bold also. So for that you have font weight. Now in font weight you can have bold font weight dot bold. This will make the text. This will make the text bold. Yeah. Now I think I should increase the size more. Let me increase to 24. Yeah. Now it looks good. Then if you see again, we have search and this cart icon. So for yesterday, I told you if you want to add widgets to your app bar from the right side, then you have to use property called actions. So we can have actions, then you can have icon. Now icons are first icon. Let me give search, and the second icon, let me give cart. I think I don't remember actually what is the icon. So uh, go to the Google and search material icons. Now navigate to the material icons here and see what icon does material library give you for cart. So search cart, and you see you have a list of icons. So you can use any one of them. Let me use the shopping cart. So you can use shopping cart, shopping shopping cart. Then if you will click save, you see these icons here. But again, by default, the color is white, so you have to change the color to black. Same with this one also. Change the color to colors dot black. Now if you will save again, you will see these two icons. Now if you want to increase the size again, give a size parameter. Let me give 28. Now I want it more big, so give 34. Yeah, it's good now. Similarly, you can copy this and then give the same to the second icon also. Yeah, it looks good. But now if I want some spacing also from the right side, so for that you can use size box. Size box of width, let me give 16 pixel from the right side. Yeah, now you have the space. Then again, I want some spacing in between these two widgets, so I can copy this and I can add this between this icon and this icon. And let me give it a width of 8. Yeah, now you see, if you will see in your uh, presentation, this app bar with the application name and the search and cart icon is created. If I'll make it here, yeah, you can see the difference. Now the app bar is done. Now we have to move to the body. So in the body, the first thing that you see in your application is this scroll, scroll icon. I can show you this in this application also. Let me, why this, okay. Yeah. So this is the demo app. So if you will see, this is a scrollable list. So in this list, you have different brands like then you have Adidas, then Puma, then Vans. So for this scrollable widget, you have to use a widget which that is called list web. This is a new widget. I have not told you about this, so pay attention to this. First, let me tell you why we cannot use a row in this. So before going to that part, if you will see the whole application, first you have this scrollable widget, then you have this list of widgets. So these are widgets one by one. Yesterday I told you about column widget. Like if you search column widget Flutter, then go to the images, and this was yesterday's picture. So if you have one widget, then you have in the next widget on the bottom of it, then another widget. So this is like a column. So for this part, we have to use a column widget. Similarly, we have this some list here, then we have another these list of widgets. Parent widget that is column. So let me add this column. Then in this column, you have to use children. And also I want the column to start the widgets from starting. So you can use the property of column that is cross axis alignment to dot start. Now this will make whatever widgets you put in this column, they will start from the starting of this axis. So they will start from here. Now the first thing that is why you cannot use row. So let me show you. If I use row, then I have a children. Let me use text, and also let me shift to the main app that is Kickstore. Now if I will have first text, let me say Nike, then have another text. Let me say Adidas. Now these two. Let me also add some spacing here. Size box of width. We can give a width of like 32 pixels and save. So these are these two. I think they are small, so let me also increase the size of this text. So I can copy the style from here and use the style here. And I don't want color, so remove it. I don't, so also I want to add to this text and I don't want color. So let me remove. Now you see you have these two. Similarly, you can add more to. So copy this and paste. Now you have another. Let me give it a name of Puma. And I can have another. Let me give Vans. And let me give another. This is Reebok. Yeah. So if I will save, you see there is some error here. In the debug console, you can also see there is a render flex overflow by 40 pixels on the right. So this is because a row can only accommodate those many widgets which can be put in the space available in the application's width. So in the row we can only accommodate four, but if you will try to add fifth widget, it will show some error because there is no space in the row. So if Flutter is so smart, it will give you the also the solution how you can do what you want to do. So if you will scroll, this error. So somewhere here it will show you, yeah, you can use something like list view. So this is the widget which we are going to use. List view is similar to the row, but it has one property that list view can be scrollable. So you can have four things here. Then if for the fifth thing you can scroll. So this was the reason why we are not using row and why we are not using row and instead we are using the list view. So remove this row all, we don't need it. So writing for let me first create a list. List will create all the brands which we want because I don't want to write the same thing again and again. So I can use a list of string. Then you can have categories. In these categories, you can have the brand names like Nike, like Adidas. Then you can have Vans. Then you can have Puma. Then you can have Reebok. You can add as much you want, but I think I only want to use these much, so I am using these much only. So if you will save, this will remove. Yeah, now we can build the list view. So there is also one thing in Flutter that if you want to remove or not remove exactly, but if you want to hide all this code of some widget, you can just go here and there is an arrow. If you click here, it will minimize this all into one line. So if you want to again edit, you can go here and you can see. I am doing this because I want my code to be compact. So you can also use word wrap. This will help you to write your code in this available space. So for in the first child, we can have first we if you will again see the application here, you see this list view or this scrollable list view has some it has some height. So this height we have to give light, I think it's 32 pixels, so we are going to use that 32 pixels here. So for that you have to use this size box and give it a height of 32 pixels. So this will ensure that your list view has a height of 32 pixels. Then in its child, uh, then in its child you can have this list view dot builder widget. Okay, now just move it to the next line. Now in this list view dot builder, you have some properties like scroll direction. In which direction do you want to scroll? So we want this horizontal scrolling. So for that you have to use this horizontal scroll. So for that you have to use a property called axis dot horizontal. Now the list view will scroll in the horizontal direction. Then you have another property called item count. It means how many children do you want in this list view. So we can give the length of the categories. So the categories has one, two, three, four, five elements. Then the categories dot length will also be five. So item count here will be given five. So this was about the scroll, two parameter scroll direction and item count. Now for the item builder, you can use first you have to use index. What is the index of current child? And then you have to use the context. So context is nothing but it's a variable that contains the address of your child in the widget. So there is some error expect find. Okay, so you in the this builder function you have to return widget. which you want to print, so which you want to show in the screen. So we are going to use this item, uh, like you can use build category. So this is not a widget in Flutter, but we have to create this widget by ourselves. So if you uh, like this, you can have this right, create a method, build category, but we want to create a widget. So copy this name, go to the bottom, and here write widget, then the widget name. What tab? Okay, then the widget name. Then in this you can return the widget. So first of all, if you will again go to the final app, uh, demo. So here you see in this list view, first you have this scrolling, and then you can select any item also. And also there is some there is this dash. If you click something, this dash will appear on that item. So here you have two things. First is this tab. So for the tab, you have to use a function called gesture detector. This will detect the gesture you are tapping it, or there are a lot of things. If you will hover into this gesture detector, you will see it can detect on tap down, on tap up, on tap cancel. There are a lot of gestures that you can detect with this. So in this gesture detector, we want to detect on tap. So on tap, what we want to do something. Like on tab, we want to change the index. So current index is 0. So we also want to have this feature like int. You can have selected index. This variable will store the current index. So let me give it a default value of 0. So whenever the app start, it will start from this 0, which is this first child Nike. So on tab, what we want to do, we want to uh, we will pass the index here. Then uh, pass we can have the argument here. Then on tap, we will update. If you want to update something, you have to do this under set state function. This will rebuild the screen once more. This will first of all, if you have Nike, then you see there is something like this circular progress indicator, and then this whole screen is rebuilt. So this is rebuilt due to this set state function. It is rebuilding the widgets which are present inside this build function. So this is a very useful function which is given to us by this stateful widget. So in this, what I want to do, I want to update selected index. So the index which is given to us by this function. So this was this. Now what we want this text here, Nike. Now for that you have to uh, have a child of this detector. First of all, I want some spacing here. For spacing, we can use padding. Now, then you have to give the padding. Let me give edge insects dot symmetric. Then you can have how much padding do you want? Horizontal. In the horizontal, I want padding like 16. So what it will do, it will give a horizontal padding, which means it will give a 16 pixels here. And if you scroll to the end, it will give 16 pixel here. In the horizontal direction, it will give a padding of 16 pixels. Now, this is showing somewhere. Okay. Now, this was the padding widget. Now, in the child of padding widget, we want this text Nike, and then we want this bar also. So to put a widget text, and then we want another widget like this bar on the bottom of this widget, we have to again use column. So in the column you can have children, and don't forget to use the property cross axis alignment to cross axis alignment dot start. This will make sure you will your widget will start from the start of the column. Then in the children, first widget should be text. Now in the text, what you want to display, you can display categories and then the index. So what it will do, like if you will pass the index here, so it will use the list categories and the index. For example, if I pass zero index, so category zero, that is first index is Nike, then Nike will be shown in this text. So this is the purpose of this text, but we want some styling also in this text. So you can use style, then you can have uh, text style. Then in the text style, you can have first font weight. You can have font weight to font weight dot bold so that it looks uh, nice. And then you can have a font size also. Let me give font size to 18 pixels. And we also want to have some color. If you will see closely, when something is tapped, it's black color, and if it's not tapped, it's some grayish color. So for that thing, you need to have colors defined. So let me just go to the GitHub. I will copy one file that is having these colors. So if I will go, here is a demo shopping app, and in the lib folder there's a file in the UI folder that is this constants.dart. This is a small file. I will tell you what it does. First, copy this file, and then you can paste. You can create a new file first here, like its name should be constants.dart, and then here you can paste. So what it does, it defines some constant like text color should be this color. This color is actually, you can see from here, it's not full black, but uh, like not full black, but like till the black color. And then you have this light color. Now if you will go to the screen, you have this a light color. So this is the light color. These are the RGB values converted into the hex. So you can now you can just use this variable name in your application, then this color will be selected, and if you will use this variable, then this color will be selected. Then you have also had option of padding. So you can use this variable also for using this default padding, and dummy text will be used in the next page, which will create tomorrow, I think, the details page. So now this file is here. You can use, first save this. Now you can use these options here. So first let me use a color, font color, its color. Now there's a thing like if you have selected, then only show this. So you have to use if else condition here. Now first, before going to that, let me go to the dart pad, and I will show you one thing here. Let me just remove all this code. Then void main. There is a operator in every language. Like in C, there is also this operator in Dart. It's also present. It's called ternary operator. So what it does, let me show you. That if example, if you have a number greater than equals to 10, then if you want to print a number is positive or negative, so you can do this. If number is greater than 0 or equal to 0, print positive, or you can, else you can print it's negative. Now if I run this, oh sorry, I have to print, I have to keep this in string, so keep this in these quotes. Now run. you will see number is positive. So again, if I give a negative number here, let me give -10, then I will run, it will give a number is negative. So for you have to, you see, you have these one, two, three, four, 5 lines of code. To reduce this 5 lines of code to one line, you can do like this: number greater than equal to 10. This is the condition. If it's true, then print, just copy here, then print this, else uh, copy and now paste, print this. Now this will also work in the same way. Now if I comment this here and I will run this function, you see here is our answer negative. Now if I will give this number again positive number, now if I will run again, so it will give the result positive. So working out this is simple. First you have to write a condition. If this is true, then this statement is executed. But if this condition is not true, it's false, then the condition after the column it's executed. So this is called ternary operator, which is used by this question mark and the column. So we are going to use this ternary operator here also. So if we'll use a condition if selected index, which means the index which we have selected in this list, if it is equal to the index, which index? This index. Then what we want to do, we want to show a color, with that is k text color, I think. Yeah, you can click here. It will automatically import this constants dot file and then use this value. Now, if the selected index is the correct index, then show this black color. Otherwise, if it's not, then we want to show k light color. Okay, k text light color. So now this is complete. So this text is here. Now, if I will save, there is some error here. The body, okay, sorry. Now this is showing error, body might completely normally cause null to be returned. So for removing this error, you have to return. Now I think this error should go away. Yeah. Now if I will again switch back to our application, kick store, you will see you have this first Adidas, but this color is white. Okay. Why is this white? Let me again go to the constant folder. Uh, so let me do one thing. Let me change it to colors dot black. Now this is working. Yeah. So what is happening here is that in the list builder, we are returning this build category. So build category is building all the childs. So first of all, we have this gesture detector. It will detect which child have we tabbed on. So on tab will do, it will do one thing. It will give the variable selected index to the current index which we have tabbed. First is 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So if you want to verify it, you can you can do one thing. You can print like what is the selected index. So you can print index. Now, if you will see in the debug console, whenever I will tab, there will be the current index. Like first 0, 2, then you have 3, then you have 4. So in this way, you have accomplished this task of creating this list view in the horizontal direction. Now, what else we can do? I think we should increase the font to 22. Let me see if it looks nice. Yeah, now you can see the scrolling feature because it has occupied a width greater than the phone's width. Now you can see there is a scrollable feature also, and you can also tap on each item. Now this looks good till now. Let me change again it to 18, and also let me remove this print statement. Now the next thing that we want is the bar below the index which we have selected. So for that bar, you can create that bar using a widget called container. Let me container. Okay, see. Oh, now in the container, you have to first give margin. Margin is also like padding, but it's inside the the child which is present inside the container. It's the padding inside the container. So you can give edge insects dot only. We want the margin from top. How much margin we want? We have this k default padding. We can use this. The value of this k default padding, I think it's 20. So this 20 will be given here. Let me also do one thing. Let me change this 16 also to this k default padding, so that if in the future if you want to change the padding from 20 to 16, you just have to change in this one file, and the this value in the whole app will be changed. So if I will use the hard coded values, like if I will use 16 here then 16 here, in that case in the future if I want to change to 20, then I have to do it one by one. So for the ease of simplicity, I am defining a constant here and using that in our application. So this will, in this way, we have more control on our application. So now we have defined this padding of 20 inside the container. Now the second thing is how much height do we want in our children. Let me give 5 pixel, and then the width. Let me give width of 48 48, and then I have to also give the color. Let me give we have to use the same thing here also. If the selected index, then this color, otherwise that color. Now if I will save, so there is some error. Render flex overflow 14 pixels on the bottom. Okay, okay, so I think the height is more. Let me just change the height. No, no, no. So we can. This is error is because we are using space more, which are more than 32 pixels. So if you will change this to 48, so this should not show this error. So you can see this is working now. But I think this is space is more, and this text, this tile should be also of less space. So let me change it back to 32, and then I can do one thing. Let me give a padding less. Let me divide it by 4, so it's 5, and then let me give a height to 3. Yeah, so now it looks much more nice than the earlier one, and it's working also. So if I will scroll is also working, and this is also working. Okay, yeah, we can also decrease. Let me give 2. So yes, so I think, yeah, I think this looks much more nice than the earlier one. Now this is good. So now our this scrollable widget tile has also created. Now let me see what is again left. Now this is done. App bar is done. Now this list view is also done. Now we have to display these images on our application. So for this again you have to use list view, but list view has a thing that in list view you can use horizontal or vertical, but if I use vertical list view, then you have to use widgets, like one widget here then another widget here. But in this page if you see, we have like something like a grid. Now if you will again search grid image, So grid is something like this. You have a fixed rows and columns. So this showing of these images is like more like a grid. Now for this purpose in Flutter, you have another widget. Let me hide it from this. Now again you have another widget called grid. Now that grid we want in whole of this no remaining part. We don't want something like this. We don't want grid only till this part or this part. So we want it to cover the whole screen. For the whole screen, covering whole screen, you have a widget called expanded. You have to use this expanded widget. This will make sure that whatever child you give it to, this expanded will cover whole remaining portion in the app. So this is also very useful widget. Now I will show you how to use it. Now in this expanded widget, you have to use a child. Let me mm, give it a child called grid wave. Grid wave. Now grid wave is done. Now before going on, the grid wave also has a lot of parameters. For seeing those parameters, hover to this, and you have scroll direction. By default, it's vertical. We also want vertical scrolling, so we don't have to change it. Then there is padding, grid delegate, and some other. The thing that we will require in this grid wave is I first we want item count. How much items do you want to show in this grid wave? So, so it's showing. First, we want to give this grid delegate. So let me give the grid delegate first. So in this grid delegate, you have to use sliver sliver grid delegate with fixed cross axis count. So this is the way in which you give the axis count and the number of child in the horizontal and vertical direction. So it also has some other parameters. So if you see cross axis count, first parameter, we want to give cross axis count to 2 because we want to display only two children's. So this should use a grid view. Then we have other properties like main axis spacing. How much space do you want in the main axis? That is like a vertical axis. So let me give k default padding and then cross axis spacing. We can have cross spacing also. Let me again give it to k default padding, that is 20, and then we have child aspect ratio. So if you will see in this image, you have this child. So first you have this image which is a square. So for square aspect ratio is 1.0, but again you have under this square image you have the price. So which means that height is greater than the width. So aspect ratio should be 0.75. This will make sure your children's look nicer. Otherwise it will look like square and it will squeeze all the text inside the image. That will not look nice. So this is the properties of the grid delegate. Now grid view have other property that is I think builder. Not builder is not a property. So let me just hover to the grid view and let me see. It has it has grid ski scroll reverse controller get cache maximum. Yeah, so I think it should have item builder. Why is not coming? Mm, Yeah, for using grid view, I have to use builder, not grid view. So grid view dot builder is having a property called item builder. Yeah, it's same like list view. We have grid view dot builder, then we have this item builder, like we have here. You have to use similar syntax here also. Now in the child, we have to pass child here. Let me return a child and let me give it a name called item and item card. So this is also another widget like this build category. We have to again create this item card widget. So for creating this widget again, go to the bottom of the application and create this widget item card. And for now, just return a container of height. Let me say 100. No, let me say 200, and then the width. Let me say of 150. And you can also give a color. Let me say colors dot blue. Now just save. Uh, so there is an error here. Okay, you have to replace this with with this semicolon. Now you see you have the item list of items with uh, main axis spacing. Main axis is this, so we have spacing between main axis this 20 pixels, and the cross axis spacing also 20. So you have this also spacing between the child 20. Now what I also want, I want some uh, like I don't think that is necessary. So if you want some spacing from the right and left also, so you can do one thing. You can wrap this grid wave dot builder in a padding. In this way, you see you have padding. You have like 8 pixels padding all around the widgets. So this grid view now. You have I think how much child you have, a lot of child. So you can do one thing. You can have child item count. Let me give to 8. In this way, you have only 8 children. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you see, you have this list view with this scrollable uh, with the scroll feature available to it, and you have 8 children. But now what we want is that we want to show picture of shoes. Is if you see in this app, you have picture of picture of the shoes and then the price. So for this, you have to replace this container with some picture and the text. So for that again, we have to use a column because we have again two widgets. Like first widget is this picture, and then the second widget is this text. So again, use this column, and the first widget that we want in this column. Let me say container, let me say of height 180 and the width 180, and the child we don't want color, so remove this, and we want a child. So in the child we want image dot we want image here. So in the Flutter, if you want to import image, there are if you will search here import, no, you have to search use image in Flutter. So if you will search, you will land into this docs.flutter, and then you have this thing called assets, and you can use image from assets, or you can use from the network one I have showed you yesterday. So let me show you how to use image from assets. So for using image through assets, what you have to do is create a folder, left click on this panel, and then new folder, not file, and then give it a name like I will give assets. And now you go to the web and download an image. Like let me search Nike sneakers and navigate to this, and let me choose one sneaker. Let me use this one and save image. And you want to save it in the assets folder. So navigate to the desktop, then your Flutter festivals, day 4. then this kick store, then assets. And here you can do one thing, you can rename this. Like I will rename this to Nike shoes dot now dot jpg will be automatically added. So if you will save, now you will see if you will expand these assets, you have this one file Nike shoes dot jpg. Now you can use that with this property network dot assets and view the path. Like we have to go to the assets, then we have Nike shoes dot jpg. Now you see the path is correct and you see the image here. Now if you will save, there is an error. So error is unable to load assets. This error is because before you add an asset, you have to go to the pub spec.yaml file and you have to add the path here also. So scroll under the Flutter, you see there is an asset. So to add assets to application, add this asset section. Now you can do one thing, you can uncomment this and you can write here assets and then save. Okay. If you'll say you this pub Flutter pub get will run, and now if I will again reload, this is working. See all the images are here. The image is here 8 times. So this looks good. Now what else we want? We want to show the text. So for showing the text, you need to add the another child. Let me add the child that is text. And in that text, first we want to show the dollar symbol. Now, use the dollar symbol. First, you have to use backslash, and then you have to use show the write the price. Let me give 100. And let me save. So you see, you have all these shoes have $100 price. It's here. Now, what else we want? We want this 100 to be a bit bigger and in bold. So again, use style property, text style, and then a first property font weight, font weight dot bold, then save. It will be bold, and then the font size. So let me give it to 18. Let me see how it looks. Yeah, it looks good. So again, I want some spacing, so I can use sized box, a sized box here, and the height. Let me give a height of 8 pixels and then save. Now it looks a bit good. You can see all the sneakers and its price and their price. So now what you want, I think there is some space left. So you can do one thing, you can also give expanded to this. Expanded. Yeah. So what expanded does is that it will expand this widget and cover the grid view length. Like grid view is like this image and the price. Now I think it's fine. It's working fine, and the price is also here. Now let me see in the main app what else we have. Okay. So we in this main app we have price from the starting. So to align all the child of column to the start, you have to use this main axis alignment to main axis alignment dot start. It will align the price to start. Save and let me reload why it's not working. Mm, let me check. Mm, it should work. Okay. It's not main, it's cross axis alignment actually. Because for the column, main axis is this vertical and the horizontal is cross. So cross axis alignment. So cross axis alignment dot start. If I will say, yeah, now you see the price is in the start. Now this looks fine. What else we have? Let me also give some padding to this text from left side. If you want to give a padding from let me give from left, symmetric padding dot symmetric. Again, I want padding in horizontal direction. So horizontal is 8 pixels. So it is giving, it has given some padding here, some 8 pixels padding here and from the left right side also. Now this is completed. So what else? Now this item card is also built. So let me again go back. So let me check it for the other widgets too. Is it working? Yes. So it's working for other. So it's showing the same image because we have only used one image. When I will show you tomorrow, when I will show how to add the other image on the database, Firestore, Firebase database, or the Google Cloud, then we will show all the images of the different brands here. Now this was what I want to teach you in the shoppings app today. Let me see what else we have. Mm, Let me go to the agenda. Now Firebase integration with the Flutter app. Wait one second. One second. One second. Yeah. So for integrating Firebase, you have to do some 3 to 4 steps. Should I do it today or should we do it tomorrow? Because we are already late on. It's 8:30. So guys, you can write in the Q&A. Should we do it today or tomorrow? Is it sufficient for today? This much? Because I think we have done a lot today.
Yeah, Tabish, I think let's do it tomorrow because since we've covered a lot today, it will take time to, grasp everything.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can keep tomorrow's session half an hour longer, so
Mhm.
that you can complete the app because tomorrow's agenda is about completing the app. And day after tomorrow, we can have a proper doubt clearing session. So, just a reminder, the day 5 link is already pinned in the chat. And if you have any questions, you can ask in the chat box. Also, tomorrow we'll have a half an hour longer session, and day after tomorrow we'll have a proper doubt clearing session. So please be sure to go through all the recordings by then. And if you have any questions, just bring them up. We will also do a Google Play app. You know the Google Play app, right? So we will be like blueprinting the whole app, how it's made, what's the role of Flutter in it. So till that time, be sure to clear the basic concepts. So I think that's all for today. I'll stop the recording.
Yeah. Also, if you have any questions still